Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Strange Adventures. I have some very important announcements to make, such as about, that's not a sentence, Blood Lost. I'm going to tell you about that. I'm also going to give you a quick recap for those who wish to recap on it, because there are 17 episodes, 3 hours at least a piece. So I'm going to do that and talk a little bit about what's going on the channel. First off, most important announcement, Blood Lost will be returning Mondays, 9 p.m. GMT, 1 p.m. PST? I think that's right, Pacific time. Unfortunately, I'm not going to list out all the time zones, but you can convert from there. And it will begin on Monday, 28th of January 2019, for those who want an exact year. So I'm really excited about this. There will be Fuzzy as Florence, there will be Delphron as Nate, and there will be Cheapy as a new character. Unfortunately, well, I mean, it's not fortunate, but it's not as unfortunate as it sounds. Delphron. Not Delphron, it's Dylan. What the hell, Josh? Josh Bray. They're merged together. They're going out. Whatever. Dylan is going to be sort of not returning as Marco. He will be guesting as often as he possibly can because of the fact that he has an exciting new job and he has less time to join us. But I will do my best to make sure that he gets to do cool things to show you as Marco, and I'm very excited for his particular kind of background now, story arc. He's had some interesting decisions to make in the past, and now he has to live with them. So, as do they all. By the way, they made some decisions. I'm just saying, things aren't great in the city right now. And also on this channel, you can obviously expect the recordings of that stream that will happen on my Twitch channel, twitch.tv/gamingftl. That's where you will find that at that time. But if you miss it, it will be here as soon as possible that I can upload it afterwards. Also, I'm interested in continuing the Blades in the Dark ridiculousness that I have been chronicling. Well, I mean, there so far is only the pie heist, which you can find the link to here. Unfortunately, my webcam's gone weird, so you get hexagons. You're just getting hexagons, but you can find the link here to the pie heist, the most ridiculous heist. And that game's ongoing right now, so I'm, as time allows, going to relay to you the ridiculous stories that we create in that game. Also, I'm casually, if you're interested, starting up a mage game with some friends offline. It won't be recorded, but if there are any fun stories, I will try my best to tell you. I also enjoyed telling your stories to everyone, sharing them, because, you know, tabletop stories go in unexpected directions, and dramatically as possible, I would like to share the retellings of your most beloved adventures. So I'm going to be doing that. But now to the recap of what is going on in Blood Lost. This is going to be a very high-level overview of the story, but for those who don't or aren't able to catch up on the 17 episodes that are available so far, here it is. We had 4 slightly different Thin Bloods at the very beginning of the game who were chased into the city, a mysterious English city in England that will not allow the supernatural creatures within to escape. That is the information that they have gleaned so far. When Florence has previously tried to escape through the barrier, it seems, she has gone into a frenzy. She has lost blood. Horrible things happened to her, and she lost control. This was demonstrated several times, one time being her almost ripping the throat of a cab driver. However, the footage of that particular incident was recorded and sent to some Second Inquisition agents that eventually tracked the coterie down to the domain of Mr. Brass, another slightly more entrepreneurial Thin Blood, who was also an alchemist and someone who cooked meth and other drugs. Not the nicest person, he tried to force a blood bond on Florence. That was saved by Marco, who convinced Mr. Brass that they were on his side. That particular relationship, while fruitful, ended rather abruptly with a Second Inquisition raid and the subsequent imprisoning of Molly and Nate, who were both kept in an Inquisition facility and asked questions. Fortunately for Molly, her mentor and Camarilla contact, Taj, the Malkavian, was able to sneak in and sneak out with her in tow, seemingly undetected. This meant that she was able to effectively be saved, but it did mean she had to break away from the group. Marco was not best pleased about this, and the relationship between Molly and Marco ended rather poorly. Molly eventually succeeded in the diablerie of another Malkavian and became the child of Taj. However, as Taj was well disposed towards Molly, he wasn't particularly poorly disposed towards the rest of them and allowed them for an extended period to live in a dilapidated cottage in the forest on the edge of his domain. From here, they did all sorts of things, including feeding, exploring the forest where Florence narrowly missed getting gored by a werewolf, and I think most importantly, they ended up at an Elysium party where Taj showed them off. Unfortunately for them, they had annoyed a Tremere who at one point asked them for their blood to study it. And after discovering a friend of theirs, Corwy, the Nosferatu, was very interested in reobtaining their blood, thinking that it held some sort of key to escaping the city. They stole that blood back, and in doing so annoyed the Tremere that it belonged to. This caused him to repay a debt that he owed them by directly introducing Florence to the prince, a rather somber, bored-looking older white man with a dour aura about him that terrified Florence. However, he was apparently feeling rather generous. This generosity, I guess you could call it, expressed itself as a request to throw him a party. The entertainment would be theirs to organise. All they had to do was bring along their selected entertainment. Florence, not being a massive fan of this prince, understandably so, she was terrified, conspired with the conspired with the local anarch cell who lived in the forest near them to create a bomb. Now, that bomb never got made. If they ever do end up at this party for the entertainment, which they decided would be Thin Blood fighting or boxing, there is the plan to explode the prince in revenge, which the Anarchs were very excited about. Meanwhile, after a little bit of messy feeding at a club in the middle of the city, Marco had drawn the ire of the Toreador Primogen, Angelica, who, after recognizing him, brought him in, and under threat of violence, instead of directly punishing them, she recruited them. Now, Angelica was in control of a media empire of sorts. She was very interested in the career of Nate's best friend, Renala, and his, as they were both cosplayers. She wanted complete control over their contracts and futures, which would be beneficial for them and mostly for Angelica. She pressured them through the external force of the Hunters into a position where she was the best option. After they discovered evidence that she was doing this and manipulating them, they decided to take her down. Simultaneously, a new addition to the group, John Hook, a Gangrel-esque thin blood from the Anarchs, joined them. John's feral and bloodthirsty ways of combat both brought them out of and put them into a variety of very tricky situations, including the masquerade breach that Angelica offered to sort out for them. However, John's story ended rather abruptly when, after a chance encounter with a mysterious serial killer vampire, he diablerized that vampire as they tried to kill Florence as part of a ritual. The diablerie took a strain on John, both enhancing the power of his beast and drawing him further away from humanity, culminating in the savage mauling of a fellow thin blood, and eventually running away after murdering his touchstone. Where he is now, no one knows. Hopefully that helps you and gives you an overview of the multiple small stories that interlink in this really fascinating campaign that they've helped me create. I didn't anticipate most of it coming out this way, but that's the best part. I really adore all these characters, and I can't wait to continue with the series. It's going to be great. There are some parts I left out, but there are 17 episodes. So like I said, if you do want to catch up with everything that's gone on, here's the series list. But until next time, mustache. Cool.